Hey Fly Tyers, Darren here. Welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. Today we're going to be tying a really pretty simple little trout fly. This is primarily used for still waters, for ponds and lakes, and typically I'll fish something like this underneath an indicator, or I'll tie it on as a second fly in a hopper dropper type setup. But it's pretty simple. The Bubbleback is just created from some of the UV resin, and I put a top coat. You can tie this in a number of different colors. I've got an olive and gold variation here. And one of the interesting things about this is actually the seed bead that I'm using on this. This is a glass seed bead, and it's got a two-tone coloration, pretty unique, and perfect for chironomids. So let's have a look at the material list and get started tying up this Bubbleback Chironomid. Get a fresh hook in the vise. So for this I'm using a Mustad C49S. It's one of my favorite scud hooks. And on here I've got a small bead. It's actually a glass bead. It's half black, half white. And I got these from a fellow fly tyer on Facebook. I think it was BC Fly Guys. I'll put a link in the description if I can find one if you're interested in those. But especially for chironomids, these are actually a pretty cool bead. I think there's a few different colors that they come in, but this black and white's perfect for chironomids. And if you want, you can actually just set it with the white either at the side or at the top, depending on what your preference is. So I've set the hook in the vise, and I just want to make sure when I set that it's actually a little farther up here, just so that the bottom, we're going to make a bubble, so we want to make sure that that bubble's going to hang just behind the bead here once we're done. So I might have to adjust that just a touch before we put on the resin, but let's go here. We've got some olive UTC 140 denier, and we're just going to start by putting a base layer of thread right in behind the bead there. Just going to wrap it down about just to the hook point, and then I'm going to take a piece of gold brassie UTC, and we're just going to tie that in along the close side. We're just going to, I like to make that follow along the hook bend on the front side there. And we'll push that up. I got a little bit too long, but that's okay. We'll just bend that back. Now this fly is going to be pretty bulletproof anyway, so don't really need to worry about bending back that tag end. But if I was tying something where I'm just using a little bit of glue, I might tie that back just to give it a little bit more security so it doesn't pull out. I should also mention the size of this hook. It's a number 10. This is one of the glass seed beads, so you might be able to get a number 8 in the CS15, but I think the barb is a little bit big. You might have to pinch that down. And you can probably go down to size 12, maybe a 14, before it starts sliding over the eye. So this is a 10 or 12 is probably the best size for this. Also keeps it in a nice portion. So we're just going to slightly taper that body. And by doing that, so we got the first layer of thread goes all the way down, second goes to about here, third here, and then just keep shortening that. Then we're going to take our wire, we're just going to wrap this up in segments. And then right at the top here, we're just going to tie that off with a couple wraps behind and in front. So you can clip that if you want. If you have an old pair of scissors, you can use that, or you can just pull this wire tight and helicopter it off, which doesn't always work, but I'm going to clip that one. And we're just going to add a quick whip finish here. And we're going to trim our thread. So I'm just going to adjust that hook in here just a tiny bit so that it hangs a little lower in the front there. So next we're going to take some Solarez. I'm just using the thin formula here. You don't need a lot. So you just have to be careful getting this out of the bottle. It can come a little quicker than you expect. We'll just let that flow around. If you need to cover any spots, just use a toothpick to get that in the right spot. We'll let that hang down. So I want just a touch more there. And when you've got a nice little bubble there, you can go ahead and zap it with the UV. Just give it a couple extra seconds. Make sure that resin is completely dry. There you go. Hey fly tyers, thanks for stopping by and watching my fly tying videos. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon to get notified on the latest fly patterns, tips, and reviews. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button and post a comment below. If you'd like to support the content on the channel and get rewarded, you can visit my Patreon page. Until next time, this is Darren saying, keep a hook in your vise. Cheers.